using the computer audio alert. You are in the meeting hosted by with one participant. Your audio is unmuted. Your video is on. The meeting is being recorded alert. Unknown. Zoom meeting. Video content window. You are using enhanced encryption button. Enter full screen. Alt plus F. Mute. Currently unmuted. Alt. Audio settings menu button. Stop my video. Alt plus V button. Video settings. Closed. Open participants panel. One participants. Alt plus U button. Open chat panel. Alt plus. Share screen. Alt plus. Record on this computer. Alt plus R button. Reactions button. Leave. Alt plus Q button. Meeting information button. Window. Discover Dowsing. Edit Discover Dowsing. Meeting ID is 126.3. Zoom meeting.
Oh, okay.
Zoom. ASD presents 2 lectures. ASD. Zoom meeting. Zoom. Inbox jmarclayhaha@gmail.com. Outlook. Inbox jmarclayhaha@gmail.com. Group by. Expanded. Date. Today group. Untitled message. 8. Jmar. CC edit. Microsoft Outlook. Send anyway. Inbox jmarclayhaha@gmail.com. Outlook. Table view table. Group by. Expanded. Date. Today grouping expanded. From Amazon.com. Subject to your Amazon.com order number. Unread from jmarclayhaha@gmail.com. Received Tuesday 8. From Amazon.com. Subject to your Amazon.com order number 113-502-370-8023-4647 has shipped. Received Tuesday 8/18. Desktop list. Zoom 4 of 22. C Cleaner 12 of 22. Inbox jmarclayhaha. Inbox J. Untitled message. HTML. Dialog. To edit blank. Henry. CC edit blank. Janet Wells. Paul Shamlin. U. A. P. A. A. U. 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 Unity Gilbert. Blank. PGM Computer Networks. Eugenia McGill. Emagill@snet.net. Jennifer Carter. Jennifer and Carter 2013 @gmail.r. Blank. Stephen McGill. Smagill@snet.net. Recent people. jmagill@snet.net. jmag. VCC edit blank. Subject edit alt plus U blank. Ivited. Ivited. V. Blank. Space. D. Space. Blank. S. Birthday. Party. Via. Zoom. Message edit multi. Sunday. Pocket. 7 p.m. Find. A. Fun. I. L. Space. Find a pair of fun eyeglasses or sunglasses to wear. R. Line feed. Dot. Line feed. A. Joke. Everyone. I. L. Link. Soon. I have missed you. There. Spelling, English, United States. Suggestions, list, choices. Ignore once button all. Ignore all. Check names dialog NME display name select the address to use. List. Name Rich Virgili. Display name Rich Virgili. Email at name Chris Baum. Display name Chris Baum. Name Chris Connell. Display name Chris. You are invited to join. Inbox jmarklayhaha@gmail.com Outlook. Table view table. Group by. Expanded. Date.
Oh, hell's
Today.
bells. I should have put my thing on that too. Damn.
From Amazon.com. Subject to your Amazon.com order number 113-502-370-803-4647 has shipped. Received Tuesday 8/18/2020 1:55 p.m. Size 7 KB.
Oh well.
Unread from Home Again newsletter. Subject microchipping 101 for you in Caroline 9878. Received Tuesday 8/18/. From Amazon.com. Zoom meeting. Zoom meeting.
Device unlocked. 7:22 p.m.
Hey Google, call missed call.
Calling back Desiree Oliver.
Hi, Desiree. So how was school? Oh, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Gosh, that thunderstorm was something else. And I figured it would knock it out somewhere.
15102196781 has joined the meeting alert.
Wow. But it was good. It was good to see your friends that you haven't seen in a while, or maybe not your friends.
James has joined the meeting alert. Alert.
That was
That was not the phone. That was it.
Outside. Yeah, I guess it was outside. I heard this really weird noise. I couldn't tell if it was from outside or in the living room. Anyway, and so sometimes when your brain gets the message, your brain is going, well, we need sugar. You know, so that's what your brain needs to survive is sugar. So it's just misinterpreting. Yeah, yeah. Your brain needs glucose and oxygen. And those are the two things that your brain needs. So the organs are saying, well, I need this moisture. Right, right, exactly, exactly. So I've been telling people because that always helps me to remember.
15102196781 has left the meeting alert.
oh poo.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. But yeah, when you first get up in the morning, just have a nice, a nice big drink of water. When you first get up in the morning, just have a nice big drink of water and see if that doesn't help with your headaches.
Lisa Lacoste is the host now alert. Lisa Lacoste has joined the meeting alert.
Okay, okay.
Hello, everyone. My name is Robert Callen, and I am hosting tonight's exciting ASD Discover Dowsing series. This evening, we are delighted to have with us Sue Whittaker, who will be speaking on the topic of EMF, the coronavirus, and intentional dowsing. I'm going to ask everyone to remain muted during the call. And for those who are joining us through Zoom video link, all participants will or can type in your questions throughout the presentation through chat. And then, time permitting, at the end of her presentation, Sue will be answering some of these questions you've chatted. So please lead off your chat, if you would, with your name and then the question that you have or comment. And for those of you who don't know Sue Whittaker, she has extensive experience in dowsing as an author, lecturer, trainer, and practitioner. She has an extremely varied and prolific background. And it's my pleasure to introduce everyone to our guest this evening, Sue Whittaker.
Hi, and thank you for inviting me. I'm a new trustee as well. So you'll see me around on board meetings, and you'll see me answering a lot of questions in different ways other than just on this call. Tonight, I'm excited to be here. I have worked a little bit with each of the different groups around the United States, and so I welcome all of you, and I see people on from Australia. That's awesome. Welcome, welcome. I'm going to start out by asking everybody, that includes me, to put our egos on a shelf for a few minutes. And even if you feel like you're very open, many of the items that I'm going to share today will make a lot of sense to you if you're willing to just set everything aside. Please feel free to douse as I go. Check me out, check it out, and see if I am giving the information that's supposed to come through. This is what I was told to do and to give, so I'm trying to do that. I believe you'll find that what I've been told from above makes sense. I was in Redmond, Washington, when the first cases of coronaviruses occurred in Washington, just a mile or so from where I was studying with Dr. Klinghardt. Dr. Klinghardt called the nursing home, and WHO, the World Health Organization, told him he could not come to the nursing home. No doctor could come, least of all Dr. Klinghardt, which makes me think he probably knows what he's talking about. This brought up many questions, and since then I have found out that well, we'll talk about it in a minute, because I know Robert's going to ask me some questions, and I'll go through that in a minute. So Dr. Klinghardt told us way back in February to get chloroquine and a Z-Pack, and no matter what happened, you would never get sick, because the minute you felt like you might be getting sick, you just take your chloroquine and your Z-Pack, and it could save your life. So I began dowsing and going, you know, I got to listen to Dr. Klinghardt because I'm studying with him, but I also know that I can get information that's much better than a doctor by asking above. So I found out right away that no one in my family could get it. I also found out, or I asked if it was contagious, and I was told no. I asked if CV was a virus, and I was told no. I asked if it was if electrical levels in the body change, and could that be dangerous? And I was told yes. And I asked, did it change the magnetic levels in the body, and could that be dangerous? And I was told yes. I asked if there was a remedy or a protocol that I could use to keep people safe from it, and I was told yes. Is it the most helpful to make a remedy, was my next question, and I got a yes. Was it helpful to turn off 5G detrimental energies around my subscribers? I have a subscription, we'll talk about that in a little bit. The answer was yes. It was a huge yes. Then I asked what percent of the problem was EMFs. 90% of the problem was EMFs, according to Dowsing. And then I asked, do I have the authority to negate all the 5G in the homes of my subscribers? And I was told yes.
Well, Sue, after all these dowsing questions and answers that you got, what else did you find?
Well, it's very interesting because I've done so much research on this that when I start talking about it, it seems like I skipped some major steps. So I had a doctor sit down with me and help me with this next piece, because this is what blows most people away. My friend, a doctor, worked with me to help me understand this, and I'm going to try to help you understand. I want everyone to understand that a virus has never been isolated. Not once, not ever, never.
Right.
Never has it ever been isolated, because it doesn't exist as it's described. Okay? If you look at Dr. Stefan Lanke's work, he's the one who really got things vocalized. He's a German virologist and biologist. He was the one that first saw the phage in the ocean, which is a large structure which actually support the terrain of the fish and help them overcome disease. They are not pathogenic. And when he realized that the phage in the ocean were not pathogenic, then he realized that something was very, very wrong about this whole scenario. And we're talking about long before coronavirus, okay? This is long before that. But now, of course, it applies to what we're talking about. He looked at measles virus. And what he wanted to see was the original papers that identified the virus, because he wanted to know how they named it, how they measured it, how they described it. And he wanted to know everything from the original papers. And what he found was none of that was done. They didn't measure it. They didn't describe it. It didn't match anything that they wrote about it. So none of the viral particles they have described and shown in colored pictures to us, or fancy CGI, or cartoons, it doesn't exist like that. They cannot be seen on 2D microscopes properly. They're artifacts of the body, and they are produced when the body undergoes stress. So anything stress, toxins, nutritional deficiencies, they all lead to issues in the body where cells start to proliferate because they have to fix the problem. When the body has waste materials that have gone out of control, then the body has to remove them. Now, if you're living a lifestyle where you're feeding yourself all kinds of bad foods, smoking, drinking coffee, pop, alcohol, not taking care of your health, then each spring, usually you go through some kind of natural detox where you remove these materials through mucus out of the body. If you take that mucus and you look at it under a microscope, you'll find all those kinds of particles. It's basically like saying flies cause garbage. But no, the flies did not cause the garbage. You know that you get the garbage first, and then the flies are attracted to the garbage. So the same thing in your body. You make the garbage, and then your own microbes go into work polymorphically, which means they change shape. So bacterium become a fungal form, which becomes a viral form, and so on. And when you work with me, I call those co-infections, because it looks like there are other things going on. I talk about it anytime anybody works with me, and it's just because those particles keep changing. These microbes are not sent out to make you toxic or make you sick, per se, like everyone's describing it. They describe it and give you bad things. The microbes actually assist the body in removing the poisons from the tissues. If you're in a nutritional deficiency state, that's what's going to happen to your body. Your body cannot remove the microbes appropriately through the liver and the kidneys. So you'll use other organs like the skin, as we see in chickenpox and measles. We see the microbes in the lungs coming out which is inappropriate. Ideally, the toxins would go through the liver. But if you're not well and you're not healthy and you have too many toxins, the liver and the kidney, the liver and the brain and the stomach are too busy, so they can't do it. I'll never get the coronavirus because I'm on a program called Detox a Lot, which is one of my products. And I'm constantly detoxing, which is healthy for us. Plus, I give my body good nutrition. I'm not afraid of anything that I couldn't possibly catch anyway. Understanding right from the beginning that we do not have a virus. We don't have it identified appropriately. It does not satisfy Henry Cook's postulates.
Well, what are Henry Cook's postulates?
Well, Cook's postulates are what doctors use to determine what things are. It's like this. Their microorganism must be found in abundance in all the organisms suffering from a disease, but they should never be found in healthy organisms. And the microorganism must be isolated from the diseased organism. So in other words, take it out of a sick person and grown in a pure culture. And if it's grown in a pure culture, it should cause the exact microorganism which is found in the disease. So what happens is if I find a sick person and I take out one of the sick pieces and I put it in a healthy person, the healthy person should get the exact same disease as that first person has. That has never happened. It doesn't happen. They've never used Cook's postulates. From the original papers from China on COVID, it states in the research that it does not satisfy Cook's postulates. The research paper actually states that, which means that if you take a small organism from someone who's sick, put it in someone who's healthy, you should be able to see the disease occur. But they can't do that. They haven't done that because if they were able to actually isolate it and do that and try to infect a healthy subject, nothing would happen because there is no such thing as a virus. If you look at any study done on contagion, what you have to do in order to produce a disease response is poison the host. That's exactly what vaccines do. If you take a flu shot every year, what they do is they poison the host, you, with the vaccine. If you actually could make a vaccine with just the isolate of what you're trying to promote in some of the immune responses from let's say a bacteria, what would happen is nothing, because you first have to poison the host in order for them to go through this violent response and produce the cytokine storms and all the kinds of immune particles to get this absolute non-self out of the body. That's why vaccines don't work unless they put poison adjuvants in them, like metals, polysorbates, and antibiotics, and all the virant tissues that don't belong in the body. We don't have contagion. We do not have viruses. From the beginning, the very beginning base of the history of it, you can go and read Dr. Stefan Lanka's work if you're new or trying to understand this. You don't take a virus and put it in a biological lab and make some Frankenstein monster. The second it hits the air or it hits the sun, it's over. It denatures, it dehydrates. All you can do if you want to make a Frankenstein monster, which I do know they have in labs, you put it in vaccines and then they put that into people's bodies. But if you eat right, take care of yourself, and check your toxic burden, which I can do for you, it's $25 to give you a complete toxic burden test of 12 categories to see if you're taking care of yourself. I use a Quest 4, which you can see online. All you need to do is get a hold of me and we can check the toxins to see what's in you.
Well, Sue, if there's no virus, what is causing people to get sick?
Very good question. I was told back in March by a dowser out of Colorado about a remarkable book called The Invisible Rainbow by Arthur Furstenberg. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to copy that and I'm going to put it in chat because somebody's going to ask me and I might as well do it now. I'm going to share some relationships of influenza, and that's in quotes, to disturbances in electricity which come from this remarkable book. In 1727, we started seeing all kinds of sunspots and northern lights got really bright all over. And in 1728, influenza broke out on every continent. The sunspots kept getting worse until 1738. There was flu in man and animals. Dogs, horses, birds, especially sparrows, got it. Some records say 2 million people perished during that 10-year pandemic. In 1875, 700,000 miles of telegraph wires were installed. People started getting sick along the route of the telegraph wires with a disease that they called neurasthenia. Dr. George Miller Beard noted that the disease spread along the routes of the railroads and telegraph lines. It often resembled a common cold or influenza. In 1889, the beginning of the modern electrical era, also of the deadly flu pandemic throughout the globe, Furstenberg said influenza struck explosively and unpredictably over and over in waves until 1894. From 1889 to 1894. It was as if something fundamental had changed in the atmosphere. Well, they added electricity. William Beveridge, author of the 1975 textbook on influenza, noted the English warship cruising off the coast of Cuba with no contact with land whatsoever, 114 men out of a crew of 149 fell ill with influenza. And later, they found that there had been outbreaks in Cuba at the exact same time. World War I, both sides put up antennas with strong radio signals in about 1917. Most of you know that in 1918 is when the Spanish flu hit.
Right.
50 million people were afflicted and killed. 50 million. Military personnel were hit the hardest, where the antennas were installed. Common symptom was bleeding from the nostrils, the gums, ears, skin, stomach, intestines, uterus, kidneys, and brain. The tests revealed a decreased ability for the blood to coagulate. Now, health officials wanted to know if the Spanish flu was contagious. Now, remember, we just talked about this and the virus. They wanted to know if it was contagious. So doctors from the U.S. Public Health Service tried to infect 100 healthy volunteers, well, I want to volunteer, between the ages of 18 and 25, oh, I'm too old, by collecting mucus secretions from the nose and throats and upper respiratory tracts of those who were sick. They transferred these secretions to the noses, mouths, and lungs of the volunteers, but not one of them got sick. The blood of the sick donors was injected into the blood of the volunteers, but they remained stubbornly healthy. Finally, they instructed those inflicted to breathe and cough over the volunteers. Let's talk about face masks. They said, just breathe and cough over the volunteers, but not one of them became sick. Researchers even tried to infect healthy horses with the mucus secretions of horses with the flu, but the results were the same. The Spanish flu was not contagious. So in 1957, we started putting up radar worldwide. Then the Asian influenza pandemic began in February of 1957 and lasted for a full year. In 1968, we launched 28 satellites into the Van Allen belts as part of the initial Defense Communications satellite program, which started the Hong Kong flu pandemic, which began in 1968. As Furstenberg observes, in each case, every single one of these cases, 1889, 1918, 1957, and 1968, the electrical envelope of the earth was suddenly and profoundly disturbed, and along with it, the electrical circuits in the human body. Now, I'm speaking to a group that knows perfectly well that the Chinese medicine has long recognized the electrical nature of the human body and has developed a system to diffuse the accumulation of electricity that leads to disease. It's called acupuncture.
Right.
Many things that we do instinctively also help release an unhealthy buildup of current. The mother who strokes her infant's head or who scratches her children's backs to put them to sleep. The caress of lovers, walking barefoot, massage, even handshakes and hugs, sadly, all frowned upon by today's culture. According to Furstenberg, the onset of cell phone service in 1996 resulted in greater levels of mortality in major cities like Los Angeles, New York, San Diego, Boston. Over the years, wireless signals at multiple frequencies have filled the atmosphere to greater and greater extent, along with the mysterious outbreaks like SARS and MERS. Today, we face the installation of fifth generation wireless, 5G, broadcast in a gigahertz range, often at 60 gigahertz, a frequency that is highly absorbed by oxygen, causing the O2 molecule to split apart, making it useless for respiration. Hence, the oxygen being depleted, like high altitude sickness, according to doctors in New York working on COVID patients. Let me say that again. 5G broadcasts in a gigahertz, often at 60 gigahertz, a frequency that is highly absorbed by oxygen, causing the O2 molecule to split apart, making it useless for respiration. Dr. Klinghardt says 3G is worse than 5G because they started putting 3G in the 5G boxes on every block, and 3G is supposed to be at least a mile apart, so that brings it closer to us. 5G only penetrates the body 1 to 2 centimeters. 3G goes all the way through the body. So it's highly, highly dangerous.
So why is 3G worse than 5G?
3G is much worse because they're putting it way closer together than is allowed by the FCC. And because it's closer together, it has such strong waves that it's going all the way through us. Now, let's say that perhaps, and I can guarantee that it's 99% of us or more, we have metal particles in our bodies. Many of us had amalgam in our mouth, which is very, very dangerous. They're spraying aluminum out of the chemtrails on us. We know that, aluminum in the deodorant. So there's all kinds of metal particles inside of us. Think about what happens if you put metal in your soup and then you put it in the microwave and you microwave it. It starts sparking off, right? If you have metal in you and you have 3G running through you, like a radio wave, and we all know about these waves, when it goes through you, it starts sparking off all of the heavy metals that you have inside of you. So 3G ends up being a lot worse than 5G. And a lot of people believe 5G is very dangerous. I agree. I'm not questioning that. But what I'm saying is because 3G goes through us, it's more, and it's a lot closer together than it's supposed to be. That's why I work with Dr. Klinghardt, and he's saying 3G is much more dangerous. So they've been spraying us, with aluminum and it's causing a lot of lung trouble with people anyway. The more heavy metals you have in you, or any co-infections, and we talked about that just a minute ago, how all of these things that look like a virus are causing co-infections. When we have that in our body, it makes the EMFs even worse. So if we eat poorly, we have amalgam in our mouth, which is gassing off. And I don't know how many of you have seen The Smoking Tooth by a biological dental association. It's on YouTube. It's called The Smoking Tooth. They take an eraser and they rub it on a 50-year-old amalgam filling, like the amalgam would be chewing. It gasses off, and when an amalgam filling gasses off with mercury, it goes right straight to the brain. And so that's been up online for quite some time. So the more heavy metals we have in it, the worse the EMF affects the body. Now, I do toxic burden scans because people have so many toxins in them, and we're finding that those are the people that are getting the sickest from coronavirus. And so I charge $25 a piece, or I would do 2 for $40. Just find a friend and we can do a couple of them. The protective envelope of the Earth is being destroyed by satellites beaming 5G at us. Many of you know that Elon Musk is wanting to put up 42,000 satellites to envelop the Earth. And what he says is that's going to help us have better internet. Well, that's also going to affect our health, because every time we change the electricity on this planet, it does affect people's health. I think right now he's only got maybe 400 or something like that up, but he plans on putting 42,000 of them up. So we're looking at some real major health issues in the future. We've been auditing, or I've been auditing, dental businesses and homes for about 4 years now. When we walk across the property line with a set of L rods, they will indicate that there's negative energy outside of all of the places that I protect. So the minute we walk outside, it says this is negative. When we take steps backwards, the L rods open up and say this is very positive energy. They always indicate that there are no EMFs on anyone's property. And if you're traveling, like I am today, most of you can probably tell I'm in a hotel room. I'm in Eureka, California. But when I come into a hotel room, of course, I have all of this EMF stuff all around me. Well, I check with my L rods when I get to the door, and when I get to the threshold of the door, the L rods, coming down the hall, negative, negative, negative. I get to the door and they open up. There's no EMFs in my hotel room. You can see an interesting video at aclearbenefit.com. And I'm going to put that up there, aclearbenefit.com. And it's actually me changing the negative energy of a power station. Now, 10G is coming. Most of you probably know 6G is in some places. We're already up to 10G. My program covers 3G, 4G, 5G, 6G, and 10G. There won't be, as far as I know right now, there won't be a 7, 8, and 9. We are already covering those. As far as I know, the last time I checked with my dental associations, no one on my plan has gotten CV. I have a bunch of dentists up in New York, and they're dowsing to find out what it is about them that a lot of people that they work with are sick and why they are not. And when they're asking, they're being told that it's my program protecting them. So this is intentional dowsing. We're making an intention to change something about someone's environment. I have a subscription plan. It's $15 a month. It covers everyone living in your home, including your animals. It also includes, among many other things, the utilization of EMFs. The source has known for 3 to 4 years, when I was given a huge download of information, that this would be a problem for humans. I've been told there are 4 others on the planet who can transform the EMFs into beneficial energies for humanity. But I want you to check everything I've said with dowsing. Check everything. So Robert, I know you have some other questions for me, and I know there are some other questions out here on the side. What we got going?
Well, I wanted to ask you if you could expand on your monthly service and how that will benefit people's health as it relates to this 5G experience, and sort of what that involves and what you do in this service.
Okay, I was given a script that I read twice a day. So I do proactive for today and retroactive. No, I said it backwards. Proactive for tomorrow, retroactive for today. And I was told exactly, you know, like how to hold the biotensor and if it's swinging left or swinging right. And I mean, I was told in detail, a 19-page download one day. And I was told that that is what I came to this earth to do, and I had to do it. And I wanted to give it away for free. And so I made this whole plan that it would be totally free. And I was told no, because if there isn't reciprocity for energy work, it wouldn't work. And so I started trying it. You know, here, girlfriend, take this and try. Didn't work. And I'd go to her house and it'd be cross. And I'm like, why? But I realized that, I mean, 50 cents a day, come on, everybody can afford that. So that's why I did what I did. It's $15 a month that covers everybody in the house, including all the pets. It covers all of, every day I balance all the chakras, all the meridians. I clear all the EMFs all day, 24/7, 365 for everybody traveling, going to school, all of that. The thing is you can buy a button to put on your phone. Well, so far I haven't found any of those that work, but let's just say, Robert, you're going to go somewhere and you have a button on your phone, but you're going to go to the theater. Well, that button on your phone might be working for you. Okay, let's just say it does. What about the other 150 people that are sitting around you that all have cell phones? See, you would still be being blasted by those. And so I was told that none of that kind of stuff is going to be enough. You can put shungite by your stuff, but that doesn't help your neighbor's smart meter blasting you or whatever it is they may have, because your neighbors, I can guarantee, have Wi-Fi. I mean, that's just how this world is working. So what I was given goes with you. It's like having a bubble around you. And I've had doctors do muscle testing on this. I've had dowsers check me. Everybody who has tested what I do find that it's 100% accurate. Scott Pierce was at a convention with me, and as I was fixing phones and stuff, I was saying, Scott, check these. Make sure that you know what I'm saying is right. And he was there dowsing, checking. I've had lots and lots of people come by, and they'll even pick up my L rods and they'll say, well, I wonder if your booth is clear. And you'll be out in the center of the aisle and it'll be very negative, and you get over to my booth and they just open up and you can see how positive it is. So that's what I do for people all over the world. And I have people all over the world telling me, they'll text me and they'll say, oh, you're doing a clearing right now because I can feel it, right? And so it's something that if you're into energy, which everybody on here is, you will feel it when it's being done.
And so are you basically then effectively neutralizing this so that it's like clear energy? You're not actually transforming it into something different. It's just like it doesn't exist anymore.
Well, what I do is, and this is one of those math things. I was a first grade teacher for 25 years, so we got to talk math a little bit. It's like a +1 would be detrimental energy. So what I do is I bring in a -1 which brings that down to 0. So that negates that detrimental energy. And so it doesn't, no, I don't even try to transmute it. I was told just negate it, just bring it down. And you know, I've had people tell me, oh my gosh, I was so-and-so place and there was a big antenna outside of my hotel room and I just knew I would get sick and I didn't feel anything. And it's people that are highly, highly sensitive that really appreciate this the most, but it's all of us that are being affected by it.
Well, great. Now I just had a question back to the coronavirus thing. And at least from the way it's been presented through the news, it seems like the coronavirus appears as or what they call the coronavirus appears as a epidemic, like it originated in China and then started spreading. And then it went to Italy, where a lot of Chinese people go. And then it seemed to proliferate there, and then the United States, and then so it seems to act in that fashion. And can you explain sort of why that would be?
Well, I'll tell you what I know about that to be fact. Dr. Klinghardt had taken blood from several of his patients in December before the coronavirus hit in Kirkland, Washington. So he had blood stored from these patients. Well, once he got all the knowledge that he has now, he went back and he tested that blood to see if it would test positive or negative. It tested positive. I tested positive in March, before any of this even started. And so we know that the tests aren't accurate at all. I mean, I never had anything. But if you watch what happened, Wuhan was getting ready for the Olympics. And when they were getting ready for the Olympics, the first thing they did to Wuhan was come in and put 5G everywhere, okay? Italy has 5G all over the place. All of these places that broke out, think about who broke out biggest. New York broke out big, right downtown New York. Well, there's 5G everywhere. How come in Oregon only, and I don't mean this negatively, but only 400 out of 4 million have died? And I get it, 400 is a lot, okay? So my heart isn't hard. It's just that if you look at the numbers, almost everybody is over 85 in Oregon that has passed, okay? And it's such a low number. Why such a low number? Well, because there's only a tiny little bit of 5G in our area. It's
So
only...
Yeah, so apparently, Sue, what's happening is, at least as you're explaining it, is the body is having a excessive detox reaction to the caused by its interaction with this 5G or 3G force field that's being around, and because the body is having such a dramatic reaction to it, that people who may be not in the best of shape or are highly toxic are basically drowning themselves in getting rid of the toxins, and those are the people that are dying and are being attributed to what appears to be a fake coronavirus.
Yes, yes. But people normally detox, and that's kind of what we see as the flu every year. And if you look at the numbers of flu victims, so far this year, we have almost 0, which you go, well, wait a minute, what happened to all the flu victims? Well, those flu victims are being named as coronavirus victims right now. So we do detox every year. Think about it. Almost everyone gets a cold in the spring. How come when it all of a sudden the weather starts getting nice, we get outside and we kind of get sick? Well, that's because we're detoxing. But when you take good care of yourself, you're not going to detox like everybody else. I mean, if you are drinking and smoking and eating potato chips all day, you're going to detox with all that gunk instead of like us that are going to detox with the spinach and the broccoli and all the stuff that we're eating. What we're eating, and when we detox, we're not going to get the big cytokine storms. The big cytokine storms come when you're not taking good care of yourself, or your nutrition is in a real deficiency. And if you think about where people got really sick, it's where their nutrition probably isn't as good as it could be.
Or I guess as everyone has advertised, the nursing homes where people perhaps are quite elderly,
Yes,
haven't maybe taken the greatest care of themselves,
right,
or are in not the greatest shape. And
right.
so they just can't contend with this the exaggerated detox.
Right. Well, and think about, usually in a nursing home, they might be on 5 or 6 different pills. And those pills are full of chemicals and toxins and things that they could be having allergies to or detoxing from. And when those, and you think about Kirkland, Washington, I don't know how many people know where that is, but Kirkland, Washington, where that first broke out in the United States, is right by Microsoft. Well, there's 5G up there, and it was right by the nursing homes. Well, those nursing homes, a lot of the people are on a lot of pills. You know, we all know better. We all know that if you douse and you ask, those pills are filled with things that you probably shouldn't be taking. And so the people on this call are a lot different kind of people, and they treat themselves differently than the people that are actually getting very sick from this cytokine storm and the electricity that we're adding.
Well, Sue, what about I hear a lot on the news about the that they're working on a shot to immunize everybody against coronavirus, and when that shot comes out, they're going to have the military get it all done and into production and get it out to everybody so that we can protect everybody from coronavirus. Would you like to comment on that idea?
You're going to get us thrown off as host and hostess just asking questions like that. You want to get us fired? I am totally against vaccines, I have to say. I actually work a lot with Del Bigtree. I know Judy Mikovits really, really well. So I have to say, and the doctors that I worked with, that I went through carefully, and I was careful how I said all the things I said, they're saying that, let's say they do create a vaccine. The only way that the vaccine would work is if there's something that they're giving it to you for. The only way the vaccine would work is if they add the adjuvants, because what happens, and that means the metals, the polysorbates, the body parts, oh, it's horrible. When you read the CDC and you read what's in it, you would be absolutely shocked. I've talked with the mothers from Vaxxed 1 and Vaxxed 2. It's absolutely horrible. And I would never take a vaccine. And that includes the flu shot, because the flu shot is a vaccine. And the flu shot is nothing more than just stuff put in to make you get a cytokine storm. And then that's why you detox. And if you're going to detox, let's do it an easier way. Go to detoxalot.com, because you're not going to get sick like this. I will not be taking a vaccine.
Plus, it's my understanding, Sue, that in some cases, there are things in these in the vaccines themselves that are heavy metals
Yes.
and other things that if you actually had to read them on a label, like on your food, you'd go, "No way! That's terrible. Those
Yes.
that'll kill you."
Well,
Now,
if you go to the CDC, they actually have a list of everything that's in each of their vaccines. And you're right. I mean, if anybody actually sat down and read that, they would not take it they would not give it to a baby.
definitely. Well, um, and let's just turn to some of the questions on the chat. And I don't know, Sue, if you have access to any of them.
I do. What can we do to counteract the idea of all should be vaccinated? Okay, I'm going to say it again. Here we go. Everyone is going to find Del Bigtree, DELBIGTREE. He's gotten kicked off of Facebook and he's gotten kicked off of everything. He is outspoken. He just won a lawsuit with Robert Kennedy Jr., we got time. Robert Kennedy Jr. was 42 years old and took a flu vaccine. When he did, it totally destroyed his vocal cords and it's made him so that he can barely speak. But he is an attorney who goes out and helps parents who have allowed vaccinations on their children and either their children have died or their children become autistic. And so Robert Kennedy Jr. is out just working his heart out trying to help people. And so I really believe that if you really want to know what's going on with vaccines, follow Del Bigtree and follow Robert Kennedy Jr. because those two people are really leading the nation in trying to make the CDC be honest. The CDC was telling parents there's nothing wrong with vaccines. We've done all the testing. And they lost a lawsuit and they're never allowed to say that again because they were not testing the vaccines. And Robert and Del just won that, I want to say maybe back in January, where the CDC cannot say anymore ever that they're safe until they test. They've never tested.
Well, and Sue, another question from Mura McCormick.
Okay.
Why can you not teach this to everyone, or do you, or can you teach it to everyone sometime in the future?
I think it'll be sometime in the future. What I have been told is that the world's not ready. And so I can show you what I do, but others try what I do and it hasn't worked. I want to go back. I'm actually going to work with Raymond because Raymond Grace, everybody knows Raymond. I want to go back and see if Raymond is one of the 4 people who can do it. Because if he is, I would love to work with him. I think that as a group, we're not really doing a lot of big projects. And I think that we really need to be doing a lot more. And if I could teach you, I would teach you in a second. But I've been told that the world just isn't ready yet. So future.
Right. And another, some people have asked, how can people find you, or if they wish to contact you, can you share with everyone slowly and clearly, or on chat, or both, how people can contact you and what's the best way to do it?
Okay, I've got up in the chat. Oh, you know what? I accidentally did it. Hang on, here we go. Sue at wsenergetics.com. That's how to email me. One of my websites is detoxalot.com because I feel like detox is absolutely number one right now in the entire world to stay healthy. wsenergetics.com. There's a lot of information up there. teslavm.com. That brings up something new. Elon Musk, he doesn't. Nikola Tesla channels through me and has taught me how to make vibrational medicine. And I'm starting a brand new group, and we're going to talk a lot about vibrational medicine. It's called Psi Chi. Psi for psychology, Psi for science, and Chi, of course, energy. Psi Chi is going to be the latest modality for healing. And if you're interested in that, go ahead and write me. I'm at Sue at wsenergetics.com. But the Tesla VM is really interesting because some of my dowsing books are up there, not even all of them. I think I have 14 or 16 or 18 or something now. I write a lot of dowsing books for doctors, homeopaths, doctors, dentists. So I'm a veterinarian, so I'm kind of off the beaten path as far as dowsing goes, but I believe that especially veterinarians, and I saw one of my amazing veterinarians on here a minute ago, they are very intuitive because you know what? Their clients don't talk back. And so my veterinarians are very, very good dowsers.
Well, that would be very, very good because you could ask the question and the dog normally can't answer, but your dowsing rod's could.
That's right. That's exactly right. And so that's why I put these dowsing books together. They're amazing. There's 8,000 items in the allergy book. There's 8,000 items in the veterinary book. You know, I have fun with it. I have a crystal book that's coming. There'll be probably more than 8,000 items in it, but I just have fun with it. I think dowsing is the coolest thing ever.
Okay, well, speaking of fun, Sue, some of our guests here may have seen the movie The Matrix with Neo and Trinity and Morpheus. And in the movie, there was one scene where Neo was going to meet the Oracle. And while he was waiting, he spoke with one of the advanced children who was sitting on the floor doing spoon bending. And Sue, I understand you recently got involved in spoon bending. And can you tell us more about how it's going for you?
Well, you know, I'm going to put somebody's name to ang.com. Okay, so I watched the West Coast Dowsers Conference, as most of you did. And there was a lady from the Ozark Research Institute, and one of the things she said is, "Oh my gosh, I just do a lot of spoon bending." And I went, "Oh my gosh, I met a dowser from Flagstaff a couple years ago that told me she could spoon bend, but I've never done it. I don't know what I'm doing." So I went online and I looked for a course, and I just put his name up. Gene Ong used to teach at the University of Washington. Now he does all kinds of dowsing, biogeometry, and spoon bending. And so I bought a class from him, and I think he teaches like 7 different ways or 12 different ways or something like that. And I've only gotten through the first 4. But I was working with him, you know, and it's all online, so he doesn't see me. It's all video. And I was just sitting there holding the spoon, and the next thing I knew, my spoon went like that. So I was really excited. So I did the next one, and on the second, oh, and I have a hurt right hand, so I can't bend anything. I fell off a ladder, but it's okay. But
Whoa!
this spoon is really cool. It was so soft that not only did it bend in half, but it actually bent backwards. So that was like the second one I did. And then of course, these are so super easy now. I just have to, oh, he said, here's one. He said, just ask which way the energy would be needed to bend a spoon. And you'll see either a figure 8 or you'll see a circle one way or the other, or a flat circle, you know, one way or the other. And he said, what you want to do is just say, okay, make it go faster, make it go faster. Now hold it at that fast speed. And then all of a sudden the spoon just gets soft and it just bends. And then my last one, I've only done 4.
Whoa!
Yeah, I've only done 4. So, you know, maybe that might be something that'd be fun to teach at next year's conference. Who knows?
Well, Sue, thank you very much for your fabulous presentation. Very informative. And we greatly appreciate that you've joined the ASD board. I'm expecting great things from ASD now that you're at the helm, or at least part of the helm. And we greatly appreciate your participation here this evening and all those who have attended. And again, this will be a recorded presentation. So in a day or two, it will be available to replay through ASD. But in the meantime, feel free to contact Sue if she has, if you have any questions or want to participate in her subscription program. And Sue, could you just put up one last time on the chat line your contact information?
Sure. Let me get to everyone. Yes, there it is. And I just want to say thank you so much for listening to me. And most importantly, douse, douse, douse. Love and light. Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Robert.
Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Where did she put information out?
Bye-bye. Nice listening to you. Really
Thank
great information.
Thank you. I'm glad you like it.